workforce and enhance the community's quality of life. Through this mission, as a constant reminder, the Corey Higher Education Council wants to highlight the Erie area's entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurial ecosystem drivers. Welcome to Community Chronicles Radio. I am Dr. Matthew Plotz, and with me today, filling in for the fabulous Steph Scroose, today's co-host extraordinaire, High Ed Program Director, Kara Dahl. Good morning, Kara.
Good morning. Thanks, Matt, for having me.
So thank you for jumping in last minute. I appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure.
So tell us a few things that you've been working on, just from your perspective as the program director at the High Ed.
I think most prominently would definitely be our spring catalog that just released last week, actually. We got our physical copies. It's so pretty to see, and it's available online as well. And I think I'm still kind of on a little bit of a high from the other night, having our big Eclipse presentation that went so well.
And how many registrations did we wind up for that? It was the record-breaking.
The record-breaking total was 115 registrations for that evening. It was awesome.
That's great. So if what we're going to try to do is beat that record, people can do that by going to the Corey High Ed webpage and hitting the button in the upper right that says register online. And if they do that, they can get into one of our shows and maybe help us break the next record. So before we get started, I want to thank those responsible for our preceding radio show, Entre Radio 814, because without that show, there would be no Community Chronicles Radio. So, Brian Slaywin, Jordan Fuller, and Rebecca Stein, thank you for trusting us with the continued mission of telling the story of the Erie area's entrepreneurs. We hope you continue to stick with us in this time slot and look forward to sharing the stories of Erie's entrepreneurs. Ben Franklin Technology Partners Techcelerator graduation was held last Wednesday. The Techcelerator is offering local entrepreneurs, grad students, professors, and university researchers a 10-week business boot camp to help take the first step in launching a startup. Throughout this 10-week program, participants explore the likelihood of success, discuss their business model and financials with experts, expand their network, engage with other entrepreneurs, and develop a pitch deck for funding opportunities. At the end of the 10 weeks, participants have a pitch presentation to position their business to take the first step toward funding. So on graduation night, I had the chance to meet with all 8 finalists and hear about the exciting projects they were working on. Today, we have 2 finalist projects from that competition who have created solutions to problems using artificial intelligence. Carl Cadet with Boda AI, and Aaron Kerner and Barry Snyder of Eventive AI. Now, I just have to tell you this, Kara, I've struggled a little bit with accepting AI. I'm still kind of afraid of what could come out of it. What about you?
You know, Matt, if I knew what it was, I think I would have fear as well. So I'm a little bit behind on things. So I'm hoping to get some clarification myself today. But I think that once I do know it, I'll have a healthy fear, but I do see the pros in its use as well.
So we're excited to have some people who are here to tell us about how they're harnessing AI. So I'd like to introduce first Carl Cadet, CEO of Boda AI. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be on the Joel Natalie show. I'm Carl.
Okay,
Cadet.
Okay, I just clicked go live.
So do you have 3 check marks?
Yes.
You're on the air.
Okay.
Hey, Carl. Oh.
Hi, I'm Carl Cadet. I'm happy to be here on the Joel Natalie show.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. Can you tell us a little bit about Boda AI and how you came up with the idea?
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for the questions. First, my background did start in the early in programming, and I had a career and learned a lot from AT&T and different companies that I've worked with. So Boda.ai is a concept to help employers put employees on the right bus. So the AI is just an algorithm. You know, in programming, you develop concepts, you develop store procedures, you develop reusable code. So the AI is an algorithm, It's used to help depending on what you're trying to build. And it's not that complicated. It's just a tool, and it's just a means of using different solutions.
Everybody says that AI is not so complicated, but it's intimidating to me. So have you noticed in your journey, have you noticed any issues coming up when you were programming, or were there any hurdles that you had to jump over? Just a little bit more about the process of how you arrived to have this. Is it hiring AI, correct?
Yeah. So from my perspective, I want to create engagement, and for me to do that, I had to understand personality. And AI comes in very handy. These days, we have what is called empathetic AI. The problem with AI or any technology is the intent. Information itself is not bad. So that's why the government is regulating it, so that we'll have ethical AI. So I came up with it because I see it as a means of helping us understand personality, understand how to put people in the right position in their personas, in their role they're playing. And AI helps us do that as an algorithm. It's a methodology that understands. It can understand. You can infer it to learn psychoanalysis. You can infer it to learn law. Recently, there's one AI agent that took a bar exam and passed. So it's the intent that's important, and that's it's information itself is neutral.
Very good. It's incredible to have this type of technology. Did you have a background in tech to help you create this program?
Yes. So my career started in robotics at Pitney Bowes. Then I went to AT&T, where I spent 10 years and learned everything about computer systems and architecture and digital communications. That led me to an IT consulting career, where I spent many years on Wall Street at JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and learned the tools of the trade. It has evolved very quickly. And in the 90s, it boomed. You had the outsourcing movements. But I've followed through the corporate world, the corporate culture, and realized that it was a revolving door. It's my own story. And I thought I could leverage cognitive science and AI to help young leaders, workforce leaders of tomorrow, to map a proper journey and vocation for them.
Well, that's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about, do you have a team that helps you make all of this possible?
Yes, unfortunately, you can't do it alone. Most projects require a team. There are many different roles to play. You need a designer. You need first business requirements. You need developers. You need project managers. First of all, you need the vision, and you need a strong problem to go and solve. So all that put together, you end up with a solution.
Perfect. It definitely does take a team to accomplish a common goal, and if you have the right people on hand, it makes it even easier and a better, a more enjoyable process.
Absolutely.
So, what do you have next steps? Is there something else now that you're looking to do? Now that you have your AI up and running, is there another product coming to us that you have?
Yes. So first, we built a workforce engagement management platform. It's deployed in Google's cloud. Right now, we're in the growth stage. We're looking to do marketing. We're doing customer discovery. The tool is currently being piloted by a Professor Lisa Joe at Penn State University. We took an offshoot of video AI. With a 1-minute video, we could tell your personality type, traits, and interest. We're using that right now to help recruiters with talent acquisition, and that's the next step we're looking to do, and that requires AI modeling. We're training the AI to understand from a 1-minute video how to help to recommend the right path for the young leaders of tomorrow.
Is the AI, is that something that is customizable to someone who would use it, like company to company, or is it one general? Like I said, I have a very little understanding of AI.
So that's a
Is
great
that something that's
question.
tailored?
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why I mentioned it's a tool. So it's like any software. You have accounting software, you have payroll software, you have HR software. So behind each of these softwares are AI algorithms that makes the process easier. It essentially automates for you what you would have been spending time manually to do yourself. So you teach it a methodology, you teach it, and it becomes an algorithm. It becomes a self-running procedure, and all it does is replace you typing the keystrokes on the keyboard. It does it for you.
Wow, it almost sounds too good to be true.
I know for us,
Um,
Kara, we sometimes, we go to businesses in the community out in Corey, and we see a lot of turnover, and it's a problem that the manufacturers and all of the people that we try to get courses together for, we see it quite a bit. So we're very interested in how this might turn out.
Definitely. If there was someone listening and they were interested in using Boda, how would they go about getting that set up?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. So we have a website, Boda.ai. You could go on there. There's a contact tab. You could reach us at info.boda.ai.
Perfect. That's great.
So I want to talk specifically about some of what you do, Carl.
Yes.
Because I think that when we opened the show, we were talking a lot about overcoming the hesitancy of AI, and I always joke when AI came out, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to use this very much because I'm afraid of it. And recently, our assistant director, and Kara, I believe, turned us on to Grammarly. And we got that loaded onto our computers. And at first I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. They sent me a link. I'm just not going to do it. But as I write now, and I write a lot of grants, and I think I'm typing a great sentence, Grammarly steps in and says, no, it would look better this way. Maybe try it this way. And if I had that AI when I was writing my dissertation, things would have went a lot easier. My my dissertation chair redlined so much of what I wrote. She said that at certain points, if you're ever interested in getting a PhD, I don't recommend it. It's tough. It's like going in the military. There were so many times that she would say things like, "You write like you're in 5th grade," and that AI has helped me so much writing grants and making better sentences. So I guess what I wanted to drill down on is how does Boda AI? You said you have a piloted program at Penn State.
Yes.
Are you seeing the beginning stages of data, or is that still in process?
So essentially, we need to accumulate data. AI is data hungry, as you know. So the more data that we have, the more accurate the algorithm gets. So the goal is to go after education, for which there'd be plenty of data. We'd like to start from K-12. So imagine we have plenty of high schools and colleges. We want students to take the assessments so that they understand what better path to follow, as well as the staff, so they also understand their own selves. The whole idea is self-discovery. By understanding your personality type, traits, and interests, you get a better indication of the innate talents you were born with from a scientific perspective. And then you can decide based on the insights, based on the value proposition that you get. Are you agreeable? Are you open? Are you conscientious? What are your interests? Are you realistic? Are you artistic? Are you entrepreneurial? If you realize you're not entrepreneurial or you're not social, you don't like to serve, you probably won't be a doctor. You probably won't open a business. So are you practical? Do you want to just be a plumber or a cake maker? We hope to help you understand and give you the insights for you to make your own decisions.
This is exciting. For just the reason for me, I know that I went off to college. Back when I was in high school, the guidance counselor came to us and said, you know what, you need to fill out 3 applications to different colleges. You may not even need to know what you want to do yet, but just fill out these applications and we'll get those turned in, and then you decide your 4-year path. The good part about what you're doing and why it interests us at the Corey High Ed is that you are working in the high schools to try to eliminate some of that confusion. So I think it's something that the high schools can take on. And that was one place where I was looking for with you in the competition is who is your main customer at the outset of everything. So high schools are where you're going to focus?
I would say for me, and the reason high school is it's my own story. Real quickly, when I was in the high school, I had an experimental philosophy class. And the professor talked about optimism and pessimism. And he says the optimist thinks life will go on happily forever. The pessimist thinks we're going to obliterate ourselves. And the light clicked for me immediately. I knew that I needed to answer those questions. I needed to know what was my role in life. What's my purpose here? What am I doing? What's the good life for all men? And I postponed all that and took the technology path. But 30 years later, I went back to those existential questions and why I didn't take the path and how could I prevent this for the next generation.
That's good to hear. That is the upside of the AI that we're looking for. And so we don't worry about Skynet and things like that. So anything else, Kara?
This is blowing my mind because even when I was going to college and stuff, I remember going into the career center to take all these aptitude tests and such, and for this to have been around, back in those days would have been a great help because those weren't always, maybe they were too clear cut into where the assessments would kind of put you into a box and not read the full spectrum of what you would have to offer as far as being an employee at a certain business or organization. So I'm blown away by it all.
And just quick clarification, the Myers-Briggs has been around for a while. There's 16 personality types. But it classifies you into 16 personality types like ISTJ. Are you introvert,
right?
Extrovert? But then you also have Big Five, which Joel, Natalie knows about. We talked about it. It says, are you agreeable? It's what most scientists use to understand your traits. So essentially, the big corporations use it for the managing directors and the big boys to introduce them into their roles. But most people don't get to see these types of assessment. So we're kind of scaling it, bringing it to everyone to assess themselves, to go through a process of self-discovery.
I'm glad you brought up the name of that assessment. I could not remember what it was, but I knew that we did it. One of the things that came out of that for me personally was I got done, and I have no idea where it was on any of those scales, but I desperately did not agree with what came out. I felt like it totally missed who I was, and I didn't feel that it was a great way to assess. So
I'm glad you said that. So a lot of people, it's how you answer, it's how objective you are about your own self. Most people are uncomfortable to describe how they are, thinking it might hinder them getting the right job or the right role. I think there's more information being shared that to help people understand. The idea is to be honest, and so that's why we're developing video AI, which is a video analysis that looks at your facial gestures and tones and expressions, and with that 1 minute, we're making it objective, so you don't have to sit there and subjectively type your answers, and I think that's gonna help it make it more available to more people.
That's great. So,
and it would be more accurate, I would assume, then as well.
It would be much more accurate because that's what we're doing right now. We're doing the data modeling. We're using 50,000 profiles. We're helping them take the subjective assessments with Big Five and Holland, and then also the 1 minute video. And all these three things become 3 data sets that train the AI to understand that Matt's personality is that he's entrepreneurial, he's social, and people like Matt will perhaps have the same type of interest in personas, and we can make recommendations that way.
Right.
You probably described yourself more there. So recently I went to Corey Manufacturing, and we spend a lot of time out in the community asking questions of community members and manufacturers and any employer in our area. And I know that we've talked about this in different meetings. So taking all of that in and how this AI works and what it does and how it can improve, understanding an individual. Corey Manufacturing told us recently that they have 55 openings of employees. They need 55 people to be at full staff. How would your AI work to close that up a little bit and make it easier for them?
So yeah, thanks. Great question. So each client has their own workspace, and so you would be an administrator, Matt, and you would invite your 50 employees to start with a cognitive assessment, a personalized assessment, and then once they onboarded, they have to take an objective and key result. They have to have goals that are aligned with departmental and corporate objectives. And then along the way, quarterly, let's say, you'd be doing, one-on-one meetings and to understand whether you're meeting those objectives or not. And out of that comes out with a gap analysis, right? Do you have gaps in knowledge, inspiration, tools, and environment? So we're trying to create engagement, and we're trying to solve the 82% of the 2 billion global workforce that are disengaged. So, and some of those are within your employeeship as well. Yeah. So the idea is to help understand where to better fit them. And that's what the gap analysis does.
Okay. Quick question that I kind of thought of. So we have in Corey what's called the prime age employment gap. There are 18.8% of the workforce that are aged 25 to 45 who are not in the workforce. And we, what's curious to me is the answer to that question, why? Why are they not engaged? And I don't know if you've thought about that as a solver with what you're working on. And I've been trying to dig down and figure out what that is, but I think that, based on what you just said, that might give us an answer.
So that's a very great question. So obviously people have their own you find yourself in circumstances in life, whether it's social, cultural, family life. So some people perhaps haven't had an opportunity to express themselves, or perhaps life hasn't given them the path. So it's no different than how AI or technology is displacing people today. So the idea is, how do you help take these displaced people and help them properly become engaged or become employed? And I think we do that by understanding their personality, by understanding what their interests might be, and that would be the quickest path of training them to become perhaps the cake maker that they are.
Well, thank you, Carl. I don't know about you, Kara, but I'm feeling a lot better about AI in general. So we'll talk a little bit more about AI. Carl, can you hang on through the break?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Okay, we're going to be heading into the break at the bottom of the hour. When we come back, we have Aaron Kerner and Barry Snyder from Eventive AI, and we'll learn about how they're using AI, and we'll welcome them to the show. So thank you for coming in. We'll be back after the news. Welcome back to Community Chronicles Radio, brought to you weekly by the Corey Higher Education Council, promoting lifelong learning to empower individuals, produce a competitive workforce, and enhance the community's quality of life. Well, Kara, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel a little bit better about AI.
I'm feeling much better so far.
So thank you, Carl. We're a little
Yes, thank you,
calming
Carl.
down. I don't want the radio studio to take over and put us out of a job.
You're welcome.
So I want to thank you, Carl, and thank you for staying on. We'd like to welcome to the show Aaron Kerner, co-founder and CEO, and Barry Snyder, co-founder and CTO of Inventive AI. But before we start with Kara's questions, we at Community Chronicles Radio want to congratulate you both for the grand prize winner, being the grand prize winner of the Ben Franklin Technology Partners Accelerator Program. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you for having us here.
Absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit about Inventive AI?
Sure. Eventive AI is basically going to be a web-based platform powered by AI to help consumers plan any type of social event that they want, whether it be a birthday party, baby shower, your own wedding, literally anything. It kind of acts as your personal assistant and helps you kind of speed up the process, save you lots of time, energy, and stress by automating a lot of tasks that would normally take a lot of time, like reaching out to vendors to get quotes, creating task lists, sending invites to your clients. And also, I think what is one of the most interesting features is that it can help you ideate your concept. So whether that be like decor, how do you want your event to look? It can show you designs and then help you execute those designs. Did I miss anything, Barry?
Oh, I'm sure there's, that's probably half of it right there. We're trying to
Where was this when I was planning a wedding? And I tell you, this would have, the stress.
I told you would like this.
And that's what we've heard a lot of. My background is in luxury retail. I spent most of my career at Louis Vuitton. My last role was the director of client events and strategic partnerships for North and South America. So I planned a lot of events. And let me tell you, we had great budgets, we had team, but we never had enough people. Everything always took forever. We worked a lot of really long days, long hours. And when I started playing with AI a little bit, I thought, oh my gosh, this could have helped save us a ton of time. And kind of playing to your fears on AI, I was also that person who was like, I don't think I want to test AI. The robots are going to take over. I was definitely that girl. But then when I started playing around with it, I was like, no, this is really like an assistant for me. Like it can just help me do things that would have taken me maybe 30 minutes. It can do in 30 seconds. So I really just see it as, an assistant.
So when you were talking about the long days and the long hours that went into some event planning and such, which was that kind of a push to develop something like this?
Well, the real push for me is I actually left that job a year and a half ago just to take some time off. And one of my good girlfriends was getting married and she wanted me to host her bachelorette party. And I thought, hey, I plan events 24/7, no sweat. And when I really did it, it took forever. I had to figure out what theme, I had to figure out what colors, I had to then go find products that, were within that theme, that were quality. And it was just me on Instagram and Pinterest for hours looking at what other people have already done, trying to replicate that and then find those materials. And it was just so time consuming. I thought there's got to be an easier way. And so then when I started playing around with AI a little bit, I just started putting two and two together. And I thought, wow, like we could build this. So the AI could help me dream what this concept could look like for her, whether it be like balloon garlands or florals. And I could just throw in different color schemes and it could spit out images to me of what this event could look like in 30 seconds. And I could keep iterating and iterating and iterating until I found something that I really loved. And then I thought, okay, now I have to go find those things. So what we're going to build is like, say the AI generates that image for you, we're then going to use some image recognition software to identify items in the photo that it generates for you and then provide links to you to purchase similar items. So instead of you finding this image and then spending hours on Amazon or Google trying to find, okay, the perfect color balloons, the perfect flowers, whatever, we can suggest that for you, saving you hours.
This could be dangerously, dangerously good.
That's what I like to hear.
I think what caught me, and you probably caught me at the right time, is that I am getting married later in September, and my fiance, obviously, maybe a female-centered product that you have, she's doing the majority of the planning. I'm taking my orders and doing certain things, but there's a lot to do, and we're at the end of March now, but September is coming, and she's been stressing that a little bit, and I felt like what you're doing is a great product that would relieve some of that stress. Just make it fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've heard a ton of people planning weddings, and between the bride and the groom, it can be a stressful, tension-filled time for them.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, Matt, you've taken the right way, just backing up, letting your bride do her thing. So we don't want people to have that stress. Event planning really should be fun. Your focus should be on creating that memorable experience for you and your guest on the day of, and it shouldn't, you shouldn't want to pull your hair out 6 months leading up to it. So any pressure that we can relieve from event planners, whether DIY or professional, that's what we're here to do.
So would it also include things as far as reaching to your contacts to invite you to something, or as a reminder? Is that all something that's filtered into the AI?
Yeah, that's absolutely something that's going to be part of the platform once we roll it out. We've got a lot of various features. We've reached out and talked to a lot of people about what they'd want to see in a software solution like this, and that's definitely one of the top things that comes up is guest communications and reminders.
Yeah, to dive a little deeper on that. So again, with the power of AI, again, it can automate things. So say for your wedding, it can create a to-do list based on whatever specific decor you've designed based on your wedding date. It can back into, okay, 3 months out, you should be checking these items off your list. 2 months out, you should be checking these items off your list. And if you connect it to your calendar, we can have our AI send you automated reminders to remind you, okay, follow up with this vendor. Make sure you've confirmed your DJ. Make sure you've confirmed your cake. And so it's really acting as your assistant, keeping you on track throughout, your whole planning process.
This would have saved me like 3 post-it notepads worth of remember to call these people, remember to call these people. So this is very, very, very cool. So you talked a little bit about looking on Pinterest and such, and trying to design a space. Is this something that AI can do? Because I know that for me, sometimes it's hard to envision when you're doing a wedding or something themed. Like, how is a space going to look? What, can it even do something like it's as far as like the appropriate age group of whatever your event is, like just making the space appropriate to what you're looking at, like taking a blank picture and saying, what is this going to look like for my themed party?
Absolutely. So I've played around with it a little, where I've planned, an 8-year-old's basketball themed birthday party. That was the example I used for a Texcelerator. And it spit out kid-friendly things. It suggested the menu, and it gave pictures of what like the little cupcakes could look like and what the candy could look like based on, the color theme that we selected. And then I think what really sold me on that this could be something interesting is my last event at Louis Vuitton. We did an event on Kevin Costner's ranch. We dropped a glass tent in the middle of his baseball field. So you have the mountains surrounding, like gorgeous. It took our internal design team 2 weeks to put that rendering together to show our executives. I described what it was to the AI. The AI spit it out in 30 seconds. So that for me was like, wow, that's a huge game changer, because you're pulling that creativity that, we paid a lot of money for an internal person to do that at Louis Vuitton. And I'm sure a lot of, smaller event agencies and people who are planning their own weddings, you pay a lot to creatives to come up with the dream. But if you can just describe it to the AI and it spits it out at you in 30 seconds, it's just such a game changer. So that's what really did it for me. So yeah, you can, if it's a kid's birthday party, if it's your wedding, if it's a retirement party, a graduation, it will throw out party appropriate decor based on what you're asking it for.
That's just amazing. What does Eventive AI, what sets it apart from other event planning AIs?
Well, so AIs are popping up, left and right. So we haven't found one that has all the features that we're offering. We found some that do bits and pieces. And again, that's a risk of the business. Once people kind of hone in on AI, they can certainly add it. I think with my experience and Barry's experience, just we know what the consumers are looking for, and we're tailoring it specifically to that. So we're counting on building something that is so effective that people will want to kind of leverage what we're using.
Yeah, and also I'd like to kind of highlight that the AI technology is continuing to evolve, and part of the strategy is to keep paying attention to some of the new features and whatnot that AI can provide, and enhance the system, the software, as like new and more advanced things are available.
And then just one more thing I forgot. So our user experience, I think, is really going to set us apart. So anybody can talk to an AI chatbot, and it can spit out information to you. And then it's kind of left there in your chat. I think for us, what we're developing is a real user-friendly experience where we can then categorize it. You can, recall it easily without having to scroll through a big conversation that you just had with the AI. It is really kind of like, again, your assistant. It will organize everything for you so it's easy to find. So again, your planning process is super smooth.
So the person that used to sit in this chair, Jordan Fuller, he proposed to his girlfriend, and if he's listening, I'm certain that he may be in contact soon. Just to not experience what I have, where I'm taking my orders, but she's a little nervous about the timing. So, Jordan, if you're listening,
Jordan, we got you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in the Tech Accelerator program?
Sure. That program, it was my first one, but I have to say it was incredible. Now, I've been in corporate America my whole career, and I thought, running a startup, that's going to be the exact same as, my corporate job that I've done. I can do business there. I can do a startup. Running a startup is wildly different than a 9-to-5 corporate job. And I think Ben Franklin, Tech Accelerator, did an amazing job of providing resources to make us realize that, to really show us, what it's going to be like to build this company, because it's not the same as having a job. It requires a whole different skill set that both Barry and I are developing. And, the amount of experts, the quality of experts that they brought in to speak to us and give us a lot of free, amazing information. We had patent attorneys, all kinds of things that as a startup with very little money would have cost us a lot to receive that level of information. So it was personally incredible for me, and I would highly recommend anybody who's thinking about starting a business and has a great idea to apply the Tech Accelerator.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was a very great learning experience. My background's in tech, and I'm not an event planner, so just kind of connecting with Aaron to kind of get an idea of what that space is like, and going through the program kind of helped us kind of figure out the things we should be talking about, and some activities we should be performing to kind of get an idea of what is it that should be built, and how do we get there.
Absolutely. Now that you've won the grand prize through the Tech Accelerator program, what's next?
So we're building it. We're bringing it to life. So right now, Barry, who I would be lost without, is in the process of building our MVP, which is kind of like the most basic version of the website that we'll offer to the public for the first time. So we're hoping to launch that in June, and start to get customer feedback. We've done a lot of customer discovery and heard that this is something that people could be interested in, but it's quite another thing once you've actually put it out in the world and see who adopts it, who likes it, who shares it with their friends. So we're really excited to build this as fast as we can, to get it into people's hands to start using and receiving feedback on.
So I know two people that may be interested in this. How could they get this product?
Sure. So right now we've just got a landing page, because again, we're building everything in the background. So if anyone is interested in, keeping up with the progress and being alerted to when we launch, you can go to eventive.ai. And then we have a little section where you can put your email address, and you can get all the alerts and kind of be our first beta testing group when we go to market.
That's great. I'm sure that there are listeners that are marking that down, getting ready to go. So
awesome.
Do you have anything else, Kara?
I'm really blown away, because I know the stress that goes into I've done some events as well at a previous job and some networking events, and where at times when it seems like it'll be something pretty easy, and I'll throw some food in there and a couple tables and a DJ, it turns into something that's so much greater. And to have this distress to be able to enjoy the moment and kind of look around and feel accomplished at the same time, like I'm blown away by that type of technology, just to eliminate weeks, months of stress for planning an event. And even just to get ideas about if you're going to be hosting an event for a friend or a family member and you have no idea where to start, I think that this is just an incredible resource and an incredible tool to have in those types of circumstances.
For sure. To your point, this can be used by anybody. So whether you've never planned an event, you don't know where to start, our AI can help you, like literally show a roadmap of every single step that you need to take to achieve your event. Or if you're a professional planner, again, it can just help you expedite things. And if you're a small business specializing in event planning, it can help you scale because this acts as almost like an extra employee that you may not have the funds to hire, but it can allow you to take on more events at one time. So it's really for everybody, no matter kind of what your experience with event planning is.
I think that's, with both of you in here today, or all three of you in here talking about AI and what it will do, we have a very real demographic cliff coming for the number of workers. So I think it is important to kind of accept AI as maybe that other worker that you can't hire. With 55 openings at Corey Manufacturing, AI may be able to step in some ways. And that is what both of these great ideas do. And it's really something else. And Kara, I know that, you used to work in athletics at a college, and I did as well. We focused a lot on weddings and, that wedding process just because of how difficult that is. But this has so much available use across several different industries. Putting together an athletic event or an athletic championship, I'm going back to the number of things I had to do and the checklist that I had for that. And I just believe that this AI has so many applications in so many different spaces.
Just quickly, Matt, when you mentioned sports, one of the things about sports is team cohesion. And that's one of the things AI can help us do. We have an algorithm that says, based on your ability to share the ball or not share the ball, or your ability to be offensive or rather than defensive, and we could help create team cohesion based on the personality of players and how to match them together. And AI helps us do that.
That would have helped me when I was playing.
Do you think coaches are going to be accepting of that?
If it helps them win, I think they will.
It'll take some time, I think.
Yeah.
Coaches have a certain personality type that would be interesting to read across all levels.
Yeah, coaches like
that was
yes.
Right. Well, I want to thank both of our guests, or all three of our guests. I keep saying both. We have two different products, but all three of our guests for coming in here today. We appreciate you coming in, trying to alleviate fears about AI and how it can make our lives better. So if there's anything else that any of the three of you would like to add, again, we always like to plug where they can go to get information and get your product and what that kind of looks like.
I just want to say I'm very happy to be in Erie. It's been 9 months. I'm from New York. It's a very welcoming community, great ecosystem. I second Aaron talking about the Tech Accelerator program, greatest mentors, Bob and Roger from Penn State, Brian Slarin, extremely helpful, helped us a lot, from the Ben Franklin Technology Partners, and Bill from Ghana and SBDC, and so I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
And for me, I would say, everyone, just give AI a chance. Let it help you. Let it make your life easier. And then, just go from there. Just be open.
Yeah, and I guess I'd say kind of what Aaron's kind of saying about just people, kind of being afraid of AI. I would say, embrace it and give it a shot to see what it actually is all about. And you may discover that it can do things that you weren't expecting it to be able to do. And And
information is not good or bad. It's always intent. So it's, the government will be regulating it, and that will be going toward ethical AI, and but that's life. There's two sides to the sword.
I like what you say there, that it is intent. And when I'm typing a sentence or a paragraph and the AI says, no, it would be better this way, it does allow you to choose not to. And that's a great thing. I would say I'm about 98% making the change. It just sounds better the way the AI wrote it. But you do have that choice, and
It's a suggestion. It's a recommendation. You have the choice.
Well, thank you all. Just real quick, any websites you want to drop for the audience?
Sure. Eventive.ai, EVENTIVE.ai.
So Christy and Ollie, did you hear that? Make sure that you write that down, type it in, get on that. And I'm sure Kara is as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And Bodha.ai, BODHA.ai.
All right. Well, thank you, guests, for coming in this week. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your entrepreneurial spirit. This is the purpose of this show, is to highlight the entrepreneurial spirit of the people of Erie and Erie County in general. Getting into this space and working with people like Brian Slaywin and Jordan Fuller, the Gannon SBDC, all of the beehives, the amount of resources that people have to be able to succeed as an entrepreneur is amazing. And we're fortunate to be able to have all of these resources. So, Kara, one of the big things that we've been working on at the Corey High Ed, can you tell us a little bit about the Rural Entrepreneur Week that's coming up?
I would love to. Yes. Rural Entrepreneur Week is coming up in May. It's going to start on the 20th. We have it's a course consisting of 5 different opportunities to get to know more entrepreneurs in the area and ask those questions that an entrepreneur may have along their journey. I'm sure that there's at some point someone was a little bit confused. I know it confuses me at times. But yes, the kickoff is going to be on the 20th of May. I will highlight that this is a free course. Sign up for one course, sign up for all 5, sign up for 2. But the kickoff will be Monday, May 20th, and that will be a networking event at one of our local distilleries before Beyond the Barrel, and will be catered by another local business, Your Daily Serving. Both companies are sprouted from entrepreneurs, Betsy Grinder and Bernie Bloor. The next couple days, we have a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be having some lunch and learns. We'll have other entrepreneurs come in and speak about their journeys and hopefully help answer any questions that someone might have. And then we have our wrap up, the big finale, which is the Road to Startup Success, which I'm really excited about, to see all the resources that will come together to be a support system for our local entrepreneurs. So that's going to be Friday the 24th, the big finale to Rural Entrepreneur Week. Again, it's free, so go sign up, go register on the High Ed website, which is www.coreyhighed.org. You can give us a call at 814-664-9405 to register as well. Or if you have any questions about it, just give us a shout.
And it takes advantage of the ecosystem that we have in place, and all of those resources that we talked about, the Beehive, SBDC, different banking partners. The list is endless. If you are anywhere in your entrepreneurial journey, we can help from any place, really. If you're looking for ideation, you have an idea, you haven't gotten very far yet. Commercialization, if you're looking to grow, probably where Eventive and Bodha AI are. And acceleration, if you have that product near completion, but you're looking to really expand, we can get all of that through the last day. And really exciting events. I recommend doing the networking event just to make sure that you get out there and meet people with great ideas. And, sometimes those ideas can help you on what you're working on. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for filling in, Kara.
Thank you.
How did you think this went? It was a good time, right?
I had a great time. I did. And I learned a lot, and I'm not so terrified of AI.
No, I'm feeling a lot better about it.
Yes.
Thanks to our guest for making that happen. So I'm going to leave you with what we do here every week, and I didn't want this tradition to end when Brian and Jordan gave up the show. We're going to do the dad joke of the day. So I didn't write that on your script, Kara. I have it here. I get that last minute usually. So so I wanted to tell you that I was out the other night and I saw this duck walk into the bar and he bought everybody around. But he wasn't going to pay right then. He didn't have his wallet. Why do you think that is? Kara?
I want to say it has to do something with his quack.
with his quack. No, he just told the bartender to put it on his bill.
Oh, excellent. That was a good dad joke.
Yeah. I always look forward to those dad jokes every week, simply because I pick up my kids on Fridays, and they're getting older. One's 16, one's 12, and the dad jokes that Jordan and Brian brought to the fore were always the kind of jokes that they appreciated sometime in the weekend. I tried to make sure I slipped that in. So we're always going to bring the dad joke of the day back in, and we're happy to do that. So wrapping up here, tune in at this time next week. Community Chronicles Radio will be here with another special guest from the Tech Accelerator program. We're trying to highlight everybody that was in that program, and we're looking forward to it. So we'll see you next week on Community Chronicles Radio. Great job.